Welcome back to Solomon's Porch with your host, Jason.
And Sean.
Congratulations, man. I feel like the last few times you've recorded something, you've been on point. Awesome, man. Awesome.
You think so? Okay.
So, yeah, man. So, we are here to do a review of Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Sean and I had I'd say I had the privilege to watch it last night. Sean feels other ways about it. So, yeah, man, we are going to be diving in. This is a spoiler review. So, beware if you haven't seen the film. You're going to get spoilers. And to be honest, though, there's not like a lot of spoilers per se.
Right.
I'd say. Like, this isn't No Way Home. This isn't Infinity War or Endgame. Like, this is none of that. This is I feel like it's a self-contained film. There's not a lot of MCU stuff in it per se. So anyway, let's jump into it. So I'm not going to do good, bad, and ugly because I don't think Sean had a lot of good. But again, there are spoilers. Overall, what was your generalized thoughts on the movie?
I could have spent $7.50 on a cheeseburger at a fast food joint and probably been more satisfied.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Look, the thing is that movie-wise, it was just I don't really care for Doctor Strange to begin with. So that having been said, I'm already going
That's
in
a good
with
point.
Yeah, I'm already going in with like a bleh, kind of attitude anyway. In general, not a huge fan of magic-oriented things either. So, like, I never got into Harry Potter and stuff. So, it's just not my jam, and that's okay. So, in terms of that, which is the bulk of the film, it was just all right. I hated that they had like that big octopus monster at the beginning. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a jab at, DC or I don't know. But anyway, it seemed really lame. But the thing is that really the big payout for me still paid out, and that was really it, and that was the Illuminati. So, okay. Aside of that, it was kind of whatever. There was a little cherry on top. That was the post credit scene, or the end credit scene rather.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, we haven't given any spoilers yet. So we are getting into those pretty soon. So just beware. I thought the film was good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was good. It wasn't great by any means. Afterward, I knew immediately it definitely wasn't top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking it might vie for top 10. And then I was trying to think of the reasons why it would battle for top 10. And I was like, I don't know if it goes top 10. Saw someone on Facebook said it was bottom 2. I wouldn't rank it that low. It's definitely not bottom 2 for me. The Illuminati itself pulls it out of the bottom 2. Like, that in itself.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that really if that's its only value, then you're not ever wanting to rewatch the movie for the, oh, hey, cool, because you already know who they are.
Yeah. But, I mean, I still would. I think it still works. But,
okay.
So the concept of the movie, we'll get into spoilers, is the fact that this is Doctor Strange 2 and WandaVision 2. Wanda goes full-blown.
And American Chavez won.
Yeah, America Chavez won. She did she win? I guess she did win. But Scarlet Witch or Wanda is full-blown Scarlet Witch. They show her true power, which I feel like was honestly it was about time for me.
At least she is Scarlet Witch in the universe that we've been typically following in this current
Correct.
Marvel.
Correct. In the Marvels, in the universe 616,
yeah, okay,
she becomes Scarlet Witch. That is correct.
So if you're not keeping up with which multiverse number is which,
yeah,
then just know that it's the one that you've been watching, but it's technically referred to as 616.
Now my question is, because they did establish that for sure, but the first time we hear that is in Spider-Man Far From Home, whenever Mysterio says, this is Universe 616. The question is, where did he get that information from? because he seems to have given it to Nick Fury in that film. So anyway, without jumping off topic here, they do acknowledge that Doctor Strange doesn't know who Spider-Man is, so the spell worked. However, I think the problem was they marketed the film kind of wrong, because everybody was thinking that Doctor Strange broke the universe in Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, he did a spell and he screwed everything up. But that wasn't the movie at all.
Right.
At all. The whole movie was, you get this brand new character who doesn't have control of her powers, and then Scarlet Witch is trying to kidnap this character. And so because of that, there's Doctor Strange trying to come in and this, that, and the other. Hey, get away. We're doing a show. All right. Sorry, y'all. That was all live on Facebook. So,
there you go.
Anyway. So the whole movie was her trying to get American Chavez is it America Chavez? I think it's America Chavez. And she definitely, Scarlet Witch goes completely crazy and just obliterates just about anybody she comes in contact with. All of those things were, like, to me, that was like one of the cool parts of the movie, was seeing her power, being able to do what she can do.
But only when she came up to the Illuminati. Otherwise, it was kind of, whatever.
I mean, even the other parts to me was still showing her ability way beyond before.
Well, okay, sure, beyond. But even still, it didn't get cool until she got to the Illuminati.
Okay.
Because when she came to, I forget what the secret city is that Doctor Strange.
Carmontage.
Yeah.
Carmontage. Something like that.
Yeah. It was weak. It was like, really, she can't send her little power bolts around their little force field that's only one-sided. I mean, come on. It
was better than the WandaVision fight with Agatha.
Well, okay, but still, it was weak. It was like, But then we get to, she comes up against the Illuminati. Yeah. And then it gets serious. It gets real.
So essentially, you have an incident where America Chavez gets scared, which is usually when her powers seem to manifest, to where she can jump between universes in the multiverse, and they end up on this other universe, which doesn't have the Avengers. It doesn't have, Lord, what's the other group? I don't even remember. What was the other comparison? Avengers and I don't even remember. Oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. They got the Illuminati. And so the best thing about this film, the whole entire best thing, wasn't even actually really a film thing, as you would. Let me explain. So
Please.
Years ago,
I'm terribly confused.
Years ago, John Krasinski was fan casted as Reed Richards. This is back whenever The Office was done with. They entered The Office, and it was like, hey, he'd be a great person to come into the MCU to be able to do Reed Richards. He said he'd like to be in the MCU, and it's been noted a long time ago that he actually did meet with Kevin Feige to see if he had a place in the MCU, and he said, nothing really panned out. So, in the film, when you see John Krasinski looking just like he did in the fan-casted version of Reed Richards, it was like, thank you, Kevin Feige. We can get past the gay kiss of the moms. Okay. Some people aren't going to get past that. Okay, whatever. Thank you for giving us Jim Halpert as Reed Richards. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I appreciate it. The other elements, Agent... No, it's not Agent Carter. Captain Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Her character, I think a lot of people were really wanting to see that after the What If series.
Oh, definitely.
So it was cool to be able to see her get involved and be a part of the MCU in a different way than before. Mm-hmm. Even Christine was a little bit of a better character than what she was in the first Doctor Strange film. And I got to say this, though. Our theater crowd sucked. Our theater crowd sucked.
For those of you that are listening, you couldn't see my eyes roll and my head go,
So there were several moments in the film where people should have
and
clapped.
Did
clap. No. There was like 5 people and me
But that was still more people than just you.
No,
that technically is still more people than just you.
There were people beside me that didn't even know why they were starting to clap after I started clapping. They were like, what? Were we, okay?
They still clapped. You
and
weren't
I'm just
the only
like,
one.
And then you get Professor X. It's not the same Professor X from the Sony universe, but it is a version of Professor X that made everybody excited because now you have X-Men, you got Fantastic Four.
Well, it's the original.
Yeah, the original from the animated series, yeah. So it is that version, but it's not the same one as...
Well, I mean, the actor's the same.
Actor's the same, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual Professor X character is not the version from the X-Men that we know.
He's in a different quote-unquote wheelchair.
Yeah, exactly. But, so you get Avengers, you get, because of Captain Carter, you get Fantastic Four, you get X-Men, so you got at least those three that exist in this.
Captain Marvel's casting, I think, was really good.
I would rather Rambeau take over for Danvers.
Yeah, definitely.
Just don't let Danvers come back from the snap. Well, she was already. Darn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, let re-snap it and just get rid of her. Just forget Brie Larson and let's just keep, Rambeau in there.
Why don't we just hop universes just for Captain Marvel?
There you go. I wonder if the Marvels is going to do something like that. But it'd be great. The biggest part of the film, the best part of the film, the whole film, was honestly Scarlet Witch battling the Illuminati. Black Bolt, I don't know if anybody was like super hyped about Black Bolt, especially because they screwed up the Inhumans twice now. They messed them up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they messed them up in their own show, which in my opinion, the Inhuman show was a lot worse than what we got in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agreed.
But, you get to see the power of Black Bolt, and then, I think people, when you see the fact that he took out Doctor Strange with that, I'm sorry, very low, whatever, obliterated him, then Scarlet Witch comes, and what mouth?
Yeah. So we saw how powerful Black Bolt is, where he can just whisper, "I'm sorry," and his voice just grows, and the sound waves obliterated the Doctor Strange of that particular multiverse, where we only have the Illuminati, where we don't have the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. And so we see Black Bolt's true power there. And it's amazing to be able to see how utterly complete it really is. And so then, the Illuminati, they're faced up against Scarlet Witch, and they're like, yeah, well, my boy over here, Black Bolt, he's got something to say about that, ha ha. And she's like, yeah, what mouth? And it's like covered over, which Matrix much. Yeah. I'm just saying. And it was just like, dang. And so then he says something, he utters something, but the sound waves don't have anywhere to go but back inside his head. Yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness. The pop inside his head was just like, oh, what? Okay.
The creativity of the deaths in the film to me were interesting.
Yeah, not all of them though. There were definitely some lackluster.
So Captain Carter to me was like, I don't know of a better way they could have took her out.
Yeah.
She with the shield.
She gets cut in half with her own shield.
Yeah.
But Reed Richards gets basically pulled apart like spaghetti until there's pretty much nothing left of him, and again another little pop, and that's it. He's done.
Yep. And then I can't even remember. Oh yeah, The Captain Marvel one was definitely the worst.
Okay, so if there was any one other character that really should have given Scarlet Witch a good run for her money, it was Captain Marvel. And she gets knocked unconscious, laying on the ground, and some big statue gets toppled on top of her.
And I thought the statue, I thought like she was going to come back up after that at some point and help save the day. Like, that's what I thought they were going to do.
That's it.
But she really just got smashed by a statue.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, come on, man. That was kind of weak.
Super weak.
Professor X's death was very, very...
That was another one of those awesome ones, man.
Yeah.
So, he's got all the mind control stuff going on. He's trying to tap into her psyche and trying to get because she's doing this sort of body possession. So
Dream walking.
it's called dream walking. Our Scarlet Witch that we know of in 616 is still in 616, but she is dream walking into another version of her on that particular on that particular multiverse, and so he's trying to appeal to her to come out and to be able to get free from this dream walking state. And so Scarlet Witch actually ends up invading his mind, and in his mind, in the a subconscious contact between the two of them, she ends up breaking his neck.
Yeah.
What happens in real life? His head jerks.
Matrix.
It was so awesome.
It's the Matrix again. Yeah.
Anyway.
So another portion of the film that I was kind of upset about whenever they were, when you see the trailer, the trailers were very, very misleading in so many ways.
Yeah.
You get, what everybody was assuming was zombie Doctor Strange.
Still sort of was.
But we were thinking about what if. Like, you saw what if. You
Yeah.
had to watch that in other regards. And so the fact that they just had, like, that to me just kind of...
Yeah, so our 616 Doctor Strange ends up dreamwalking in another multiverse version of himself who had got brought into 616 with American Chavez, but he was actually killed by some other monster, so basically she brought this corpse with her, and so our 616 Doctor Strange ends up burying that Doctor Strange, but later on needs to dreamwalk with him back in that verse because he's stuck in a different Oh my goodness, you see why I hate these freaking stories.
That stuff didn't bother me as much. It was just the fact that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought he was going to get stuck in a universe with, like, zombie Avengers and whatnot.
Which actually might have been pretty cool.
That would have been better, but it didn't happen like that.
Yeah.
So the Illuminati comes and goes. So at least in that one universe, we're not getting, those particular characters. Although we know that they do exist in other universes. So
actually, I kind of tuned out from the rest of the movie after that.
After which part? Illuminati?
The Illuminati.
Well, I think you were just done with it.
Yeah, I was kind of done with it before we got there, but I was definitely done with it after that because that was the best part.
Yeah, so, I mean, the ending of the film, just blah, 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 stuff happens. At the end of the film, you get the first post-credit scene. I didn't look up to see who the character was. I mean, they brought Charlize Theron into the MCU now, which, I think is a good move. She's a very great actress. She's a popular actress. You already got Angelina Jolie, you got Nicole Kidman, you got Michelle Pfeiffer. And Nicole Kidman in MCU? I think she might be DC. I can't remember. But you got all these older ladies doing all these roles, so why not bring in Charlize Theron? Then you get the very end, and so one of the things, this is a Sam Raimi film, so all the different, like, demons and monsters and all that stuff, very Army of Darkness like, that's just what he does. And, I guess Kevin Feige thought he'd be a good fit to make a scary version of Doctor Strange. It's not, like, super scary at all. It's just more like comical scare, like Army of Darkness. But at the end of the day, I think they said that he pulled out. I think he was supposed to be doing Fantastic Four and pulled out. I can't remember. Whoever was supposed to do Fantastic Four is not doing it now, as far as directing it. And I want to say I thought it was him, or it might be John Watts. No, John Watts. It's John Watts. But all that to say, the movie was just good for me. So it probably ranks, somewhere in the 11 to 15 in the MCU for me. So, Sean, where do you think you would put it?
Well, so first off, Charlize Theron's character is Clea.
Okay.
Clea. I don't know anything about her, to be honest with you. I was trying to look it up real quick. It says, the Marvel history of Doctor Strange's wife and new Sorcerer Supreme. New magical star Klee is a longtime Doctor Strange character. So I guess if you've been a longtime Doctor Strange fan, you've probably already known about her. But anyway, so she gets dropped into the whole thing in our post credit scene. Did you explain the end credit scene though? No.
No.
Bruce, what's his name?
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, who we know from Army of Darkness, who we know from the Spider-Man movies, as well as other things. Obviously, he's done a lot of stuff. Is in the movie as on one of the multiverse planets. He is a pizza ball street vendor. So yes, I did say pizza ball. Don't ask. You'll see it. It actually looks really disgusting. But anyway, he is American Chavez assumes that all food is free, as it is with most multiverses, and but Bruce Campbell's character is like, oh, wait a minute, you owe me money, and he starts getting kind of agitated about it all. So Doctor Strange 616 casts a spell onto him that he ends up having to hit himself continually, and he alludes that it could take weeks before he actually stops. I don't know that it was actually weeks, but at the end of the credits, we actually see him again. He's still punching himself. His cart doesn't seem to be like weeks old destroyed, so I don't think it was weeks. It was probably still the same day. But anyway, he stops hitting himself, and he's all worried. And then he gets this look on his face of complete
Look to the camera.
Ecstatic joy, and he says, "It's over!" That's right. And then the movie's over. That's it. It's done. I think you made the best comparison. It was a lot like, what's that stupid movie?
Man.
Deadpool.
I don't remember. Deadpool. No. I said I like that almost as much as I like the Deadpool post-credit scene.
Well, in that it's, at the very end, and it's still a matter of saying,
it's done.
It's addressing the audience. What are you... Why are you still here?
Yeah.
So, which of course is a ripoff from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But just the same though, really fun. Again, that to me, that was the cherry on top of the Illuminati. So it's Illuminati. And
so you liked everything about the
Bruce
film
Campbell.
except anything that dealt with Doctor Strange directly.
Yeah. Or, Scarlet Witch or magic or...
I mean, I was okay with the Scarlet Witch though. Like Scarlet Witch to me was
the only Scarlet Witch part was when she battled the Illuminati.
So it's still Illuminati related.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Well, the good news is we might end up getting an Illuminati film in the next 5 or 10 years. That'd be pretty cool.
See, I don't even really need that because really, again, to me, the whole payout there was to be able to see, oh, finally, we have other castings.
Yeah.
So you're telling us that we could actually possibly get a real Captain Carter. That would be epic. And so we see a little bit of that. And so we get kind of juiced. Oh, man, that would be great. Oh, an even better Captain Marvel. Yes, of course. That's exactly who we've been telling you that we've been wanting. Thank you. And then, Fantastic Four. What? Super payout, right?
Yeah, I don't think Captain Carter is going to stick. I think it was a one and done.
I think maybe a D+.
I think it's a one and done. I really do.
You think so?
I think so.
I'd like to see a D+. I think a D+.
I mean, I'd like it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I feel like this was their way of saying, you know what? You asked us. Here's a little taste of it. You're welcome. Here you go.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same with Professor X. I mean, Patrick Stewart's not going to come back to Professor X.
Boy,
so they did the same thing there.
Yeah.
Reed Richards, yes. Was it Monica Rambeau?
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to get that.
Yeah.
Black Bolt, I don't know because they haven't announced any type of Inhumans.
Don't care.
But but like you said, we see that at least there is some version of them that exists.
Yeah. So I think the big underlying thing here for me was that this is the introduction of America Chavez, and so this almost feels like a handoff film in that.
Well, she did end up at Commentage.
Yeah, whatever, as training and stuff. And so, and the thing is that the character's never excited me, regardless of her sexual orientation, regardless of whatever LGBTQIA agenda that may be trying to be pushed into the films and onto us, whatever any of that stuff is. It doesn't matter. I didn't like her to begin with. It just didn't. It was never a character that I found to be interesting enough to even want to follow. I feel like in some ways it's just because she's almost too powerful. I forgot what the abbreviation is for the OP. Is it OP?
Yeah, overpowered.
Overpowered. Yeah. Superheroes. Yeah. So it's just for whatever reason, I don't know why I feel different about Superman. Maybe because I grew up with him. But even still, I gravitate less toward him than I ever have. Captain Marvel, same thing. Even though I would much rather see Monica Rambeau as opposed to Danvers. But even, I think if they'd just done better casting with Danvers and they'd kept the Flurkin named Chewie, I think I would be a lot better off. But it irks me too much. So, give me something a little more realistic, I guess.
Gotcha. Well,
Daredevil.
There you go.
Punisher.
Overall, movie was just alright.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you're bored, go see it. Otherwise, wait till it comes out on video. Like, what's that movie we missed because it came out and
Morbius?
Yeah, I was so not very excited about going to see it, evidently.
Yeah. I'm not excited about there's a lot
I'll
of
watch it.
There's some MCU stuff coming up that I'm just like,
I
really don't care.
But see, and that's just it. That's okay, because I mean, when you walk into the comic book shop, you don't buy an issue of everything.
Yeah, true.
You're not into everything, and that's okay.
The only downfall, which they're not tying them together as much as they were, because like the first 2 phases and 3 phases,
everything was all about the Avengers.
Everything was tied in.
Yeah.
Even Guardians was still somewhat by itself, but it eventually tied in.
Yeah.
So if they keep it like that, I think it's good. But there's some stuff coming up, and I'm just like, I really don't care to see that. I mean, there's only a few things coming up where I'm just like, I really don't want to see that.
Yeah.
The Marvels, I don't want to see that at all, just because I don't like Brie Larson and her take on anything.
Again, just even the concept just doesn't excite me anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but anyway, that's our thoughts on it. We're gonna stop rambling on.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Are we out of our minds? I saw a lot of people said it was great.
Some people totally are saying out of my mind.
Some people are saying like every single film is great. They're just like, this was great. This is the best. This was this. This is like all the latest stuff that's coming out, and I'm like, not really, man. Like,
wow.
So all the shows, like all the Marvel shows, almost all of them's been lackluster. All of them.
Don't get me wrong. When they first start out, I'm excited about it because I want it to be good.
Yeah.
But then what it usually ends up happening is that as we go along, we go, okay.
I mean, there was a couple of good episodes on any of the shows. I don't think any of them had more than 2 episodes that were like, wow, that's great. None of them.
Yeah.
Maybe like Hawkeye might be the most exciting for all of them.
I would say that Hawkeye's the only one I'd have to disagree with you on. I think I felt more connected to Hawkeye, and there was a lot more in Hawkeye that just really kept it flowing well enough. I would say that the opposite would be true. There's only maybe a couple of episodes that were meh, whereas the rest were all like, oh, that was so good. I want more.
Yeah, I mean, that probably had the best episodes in it, but overall, there were still, at least half of it. I was just like, whatever. And Loki, it just drug on.
Yeah,
WandaVision.
Interesting, but yeah, it did seem to go a little long.
Wanda didn't do what I was hoping it would do.
It was a slow start, and then once it got
epic fail.
then it didn't really follow through on execution.
Epic fail, especially with the whole brother thing. That just, yeah, all this like Marvel. I don't know. Like they've been, like they're losing people
about it.
They're losing a lot of people, and they're going to continue losing people, especially if they are continuing with their agenda from Disney into the MCU. They're still going to lose a ton of people, and they're not going to make up for what they lost in new curious people.
See, and you know, and I think that's one of the things is that I don't know that I actually ever saw anybody walk into any of the comic book shops that I've ever been to, let alone the ones that I would frequent, that were like, oh, dude, Miles Morales, man, I got to get the latest issue, right? It was more like, yeah, we understand that you're like placating somebody to keep them happy, and this comic sucks. So, but just because it sucks, that they weren't buying it. You know?
Not specifically Miles Morales.
Well,
but there have been like America Chavez comic. They stopped making it.
Yeah,
like they stopped it because it didn't sell.
Because it sucked.
Why are you going to bring the character into the movies if the comic failed? Are you trying to force people to want to like her?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
If the comics don't sell, don't make movies off the characters. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, that's enough ranting. We're done. Yeah. We'll be back with a full episode of the show here in a few days. Stay tuned for that. Thank y'all for checking it out. Like, subscribe, share, whatever, you know.
The little bell thing, you need to get notified.
Absolutely. Yep. We'll see y'all later. Always remember, Jesus loves you way more than we ever could.
Peace.